Looking to prepare for unexpected blackouts? Don't get caught off guard. In this video, we'll uncover the 8 must-have items everyone requires to survive any blackout. From essential lighting solutions to reliable food storage tips, we've got you covered with all the gear and tools you need to stay safe, comfortable, and ready when the power goes out. Whether it's a sudden storm, grid failure, or another emergency, these items will prove invaluable for your survival and convenience. We'll break down each item, explain why it's crucial, and even share helpful tips for using them effectively. This list is perfect for everyone, whether you're building your first emergency kit or enhancing the one you already have. Don't wait until it's too late. Planning ahead is key to ensuring safety and peace of mind during any blackout or power outage. If you find this video helpful, don't forget to like, share, and leave a comment telling us your go-to survival tools. Also, make sure to subscribe to our channel so you never miss more practical tips, gear reviews, and guides to prepare for emergencies. Hit the notification bell so you're always ready. 1. A dependable way to see in the dark. When the power's out and the sun sets, any room without windows quickly plunges into pitch black. A reliable light source isn't optional, it's essential. Stumbling around in the dark is more than just annoying, it's a safety hazard. Mishaps from knocking over fragile items to outright injuries like twisting an ankle or cutting yourself on something sharp become real threats when you can't see a thing. To avoid living like a bat during a blackout, you need tools that light your way. Flashlights are a no-brainer. They're portable, powerful, if you invest in quality, and perfect for pointing directly at what you need to see. For broader lighting, LED lanterns are a game changer. These compact devices are handy for illuminating larger spaces, like a whole room, instead of just one narrow spot. Then there are headlamps. If you've got tasks requiring both hands, a headlamp turns you into a human lighthouse. Whether you're fixing something or just carrying items around, strapping this gadget to your head means you don't have to juggle light and the task at hand. But here's the kicker with most traditional flashlights or lanterns. They run on batteries. Think about it. How long is your average store-bought battery going to hold up when you're relying on it constantly? Not long. If you're sensible, you'll skip anything that relies solely on throwaway batteries. Opt for rechargeable models or, even better, solar-powered ones. A flashlight that can juice up during the daylight hours and stay functional at night is worth its weight in gold. One more tip? Stock up on multiple light sources, not just one. A single flashlight won't cut it if there's a prolonged blackout. Everyone in your family or household should have something they can independently use to see. Redundancy here isn't waste, it's preparedness. Underestimate the value of a good light source and you'll regret it as soon as the power cuts at 9 p.m. and you're left scrambling to find your way to the nearest candle. Spoiler alert, candles are awful for reliable, consistent lighting. Don't chance it. 2. Power you can count on. Sure, light is vital, but it's only the first step. What good is a phone if it's dead? Or a radio? Your connection to emergency updates running on fumes? Once you've sorted out being able to see, your next problem during a blackout is power. Specifically, portable, dependable power to keep the basic essentials running. A backup power supply is non-negotiable during an outage. A portable power bank is your first line of defense. These little lifesavers hold a charge and can bring your most important devices back to life, so you're not stuck completely cut off from the world. A dying phone is more than just inconvenient during an emergency, it's a potential disaster. A quality power bank ensures you don't lose that critical connection to emergency notifications, loved ones, or essential contacts. But why stop at just one power bank? You can't rely on a single source, especially when some power banks run out faster than you think. Go for a high-capacity option. We're talking something that can fully charge multiple devices without giving out midway. Aim for models with multiple charging ports, so you're not rationing power like some 19th century ship crew. And if you're not using the power bank regularly, make sure you check and recharge it periodically. The last thing you need is grabbing your backup power source during a blackout, only to find it's as drained as your dying phone. For those thinking long-term, a solar charger is another smart option. It's true that charging anything via solar power takes longer, but when you're dealing with extended outages, the ability to recharge a power bank or a device without a traditional outlet is invaluable. If you can swing it and live in an area where blackouts last days, small generators might be worth exploring. They're more of an upfront investment, but being able to keep an entire fridge running or power a few lights might be worth every penny. One rookie mistake people often make is relying too heavily on wall power banks that need to be plugged into an outlet to charge other devices. When the grid's down, so is that option. Make sure your backup power sources don't depend entirely on electricity from the wall. You want options that work even when the whole town's gone dark? 3. Stockpile non-perishable food. When the lights are out and the fridge stops humming, guess what? All that fresh food you bought isn't going to last long. That's where non-perishable food steps in. Canned goods, freeze-dried meals, protein bars, and anything shelf-stable are your new best friends. These items are designed to endure storage without refrigeration, which is exactly what you need when the grid fails. Why is this such a big deal? Simple. You need energy to stay sharp and functional during a crisis. Cooking might not be an option, especially if your stove relies on electricity. Non-perishable food keeps you fueled without the need for cooking, reheating, or refrigeration. Think about grabbing a can of soup, cracking it open and eating it cold if you have to. It's not gourmet, but it works. Now you're probably imagining endless cans of bland beans or the chalky taste of those protein bars. It doesn't have to be this way. Variety matters. Choose canned stews, vegetables, and fruits to add some balance to your diet. Stock up on granola bars, peanut butter, and even some comfort snacks like crackers or cookies. You're already dealing with a power outage. Don't add misery to the mix by limiting your food choices. Pro tip: don't forget a manual can opener. It's laughable how many people stock up on canned goods but overlook this critical tool. Picture yourself staring at a can of soup with no way to open it. Don't be that person. Also, think about dietary needs. If someone in your household requires gluten-free meals or has allergies, plan accordingly. This isn't the time to forget about health restrictions. Ultimately, having non-perishable food isn't just about survival. It's about maintaining some level of normalcy when everything around you feels uncertain. No power, no problem, as long as you've got the right food supplies to lean on. 4. Secure clean water and filtration. Here's the thing people overlook during blackouts: water. You can survive days, even weeks without food. Without water, not so much. Staying hydrated is non-negotiable. If your tap stops running, you need a backup plan, or you'll find yourself in trouble fast. Start with bottled water. This is the gold standard for emergencies. Store at least 1 gallon of water per person per day, and don't skimp. Hydration isn't something to gamble with. Consider how much water you use, not just for drinking, but for cooking, cleaning, and even brushing your teeth. Once you start calculating, that 1 gallon per person starts to feel like the bare minimum. But here's the thing about bottled water. It's finite. If your blackout stretches on for days or weeks, those plastic jugs are going to run dry. That's why water filtration options exist, and they're a real lifesaver when your supply runs low. Water purification tablets are small, lightweight, and dead simple to use. Drop one into a questionable source of water, wait, and boom. It's safer to drink. Portable water filters are another solid choice. Devices like the LifeStraw or Sawyer Mini fit into a backpack and can filter thousands of gallons of water with zero hassle. Speaking of waterborne illnesses, forget about brushing this topic off as worst-case scenario. Contaminated water is a direct route to diarrhea, dehydration, and a whole lot of wasted energy when you can't afford it. Smart people prepare for this because even a small mistake during a blackout can snowball fast. Pro tip here: don't wait until the blackout to store your water. Stock up early and rotate your supply regularly. Water doesn't spoil, but it can turn stale if left in plastic bottles for too long. If you're using barrels or larger containers, make sure they're food grade and properly sterilized before filling them. Lastly, keep all your water storage in a cool, dark place to prevent bacteria from showing up. You'd be amazed how quickly panic sets in when the taps dry out. People scramble for bottled water at the last minute, leaving store shelves barren. Don't be part of that frenzy. Prepare now, and you won't have to wrestle a stranger for the last case of bottled water at the supermarket. 5. A practical first aid kit. When a blackout hits, medical help may not be around the corner. That cut you got while rummaging in the dark, the migraine from stress, or even a sudden allergic reaction won't wait for the clinic to reopen. This is where a proper first aid kit becomes non-negotiable. We're not talking about tossing a few Band-Aids into a plastic box and calling it a day. We're talking full-on readiness. Stock it right. Basics like bandages and gauze are a given. You'll also need antiseptics, think alcohol wipes, hydrogen peroxide, or antibiotic ointments, whatever it takes to keep infections at bay. Pain relievers like ibuprofen or acetaminophen, a must. Next, there's no overlooking prescription medications. Does someone in your household rely on daily meds? You better have a week's worth at the very least, preferably longer. And don't rely on, "I'll remember to grab it." Pack it in advance. Customize, don't generalize. Every family's needs are different. Young kids? Include pediatric medications and extra bandages. Seniors or individuals with chronic illnesses? Think blood pressure monitors, glucose testers, or anything else they might need. Include an emergency manual to guide you through basic procedures if you've never bandaged anything in your life. Pro tip? Don't underestimate the oddities like tweezers. Splinters happen in the weirdest moments. Or a blunt-tipped scissors. A cold pack, gloves, and an emergency thermal blanket might feel like overkill until you're freezing in the dark. And for heaven's sake, keep the kit somewhere accessible. Gear buried under useless junk in your closet is about as effective as having no gear at all. Here's the harsh truth. In a blackout, help won't always arrive fast enough. Until it does, you're on your own. With a functional first aid kit, you're at least equipped to handle the basics without spiraling into panic mode. Think of it as your safety net when the world outside is temporarily useless. 6. Reliable emergency communication tools. Here's a thought experiment. You've lost power, your Wi-Fi is down, your smartphone battery is flirting with 1%, and there's an emergency brewing outside. How are you getting updates? Saying, "I'll wing it" isn't reassuring, it's reckless. This is where emergency communication tools turn from nice to have to, if you don't have it, you're screwed. Start with radios. Specifically, a battery-powered or hand-cranked radio should sit front and center in your blackout kit. Why? These little powerhouses pick up emergency broadcasts and weather alerts when all other communications fail. NOAA Weather Channel-equaled radios will feed you real-time, life-saving information. Hurricanes, tornadoes, blizzards? You'll know what's coming before you're swept away. Walkie-talkies are another underrated addition. If cell towers go down and you're stuck coordinating with someone nearby, these gadgets bypass the need for service or the grid altogether. They're perfect for keeping in touch with family members who might be spread across your property or neighborhood. Plus, they run on good old-fashioned batteries, so as long as you've got spares, you're fine. Consider the details. Any device you rely on should be durable, portable, and come with a backup charging option. For radios, hand crank or solar-powered chargers will never leave you high and dry. For walkie-talkies, pack extra batteries, because when they're dead, they're utterly useless. Pro tip? Test everything ahead of time. Ever unwrap a gadget for the first time in the middle of an emergency? Don't. Learn how to tune into weather stations, adjust frequencies, or power them up before things hit the fan. All the preparedness in the world won't matter if you can't operate your tools under pressure. Here's the blunt reality. Blackouts have a nasty habit of cutting off information when you need it most. Without emergency communication tools, you're flying blind in a storm. That's not a strategy. That's begging for trouble. Get yourself equipped, stay in the loop, and keep control, even when the grid decides to go on vacation. 7. Essential gear for warmth and shelter. Power outages don't care about the season, but winter blackouts are another level of nasty. Without heat, you're stuck battling the cold. Staying warm isn't just about feeling cozy, it's about survival when temperatures drop. This is where warmth and shelter essentials step into the spotlight. First, get yourself an arsenal of blankets and sleeping bags. Heavy, insulating blankets can act as your first line of defense when the heating system goes offline. If you live somewhere cold, invest in sleeping bags rated for low temperatures. These aren't just for camping. They can trap body heat far better than throwing on 6 extra sweaters. Emergency thermal blankets, those shiny foil-looking sheets, might seem flimsy, but don't underestimate them. They're compact, lightweight, and surprisingly effective at reflecting heat back toward your body. Don't stop at keeping yourself warm. Think about shelter. If your home becomes uninhabitable, whether due to extreme cold or structural issues, you'll need a backup plan. That's where items like tents and tarps come in. A small pop-up tent can serve as an enclosed space to trap warm air, even indoors. Tarps tied up with rope can create an emergency barrier to block wind or cover open areas if you need temporary outdoor space. These aren't just for hardcore preppers. They're a smart fallback for any blackout scenario. Pro tip: don't forget about layers of clothing. Wear several layers to trap heat and focus on covering extremities. Hats, gloves, and thick socks are non-negotiables if it's freezing. Keep extra dry clothes on hand. Dampness can kill your body heat. And yes, these items should all be accessible. A box of essentials buried in your basement is no good when the house temperature is nearing Arctic levels. Bottom line, warmth isn't just a comfort. It's a fight for survival when Mother Nature decides to turn on the freezer. Plan now or freeze later. 8. Multitools and basic problem solvers. Blackouts are chaos-bringing tests of self-reliance. You can't count on your gadgets when the grid goes dark, so grab some analog tools that don't require batteries, chargers, or prayers. At the top of this list, a multi-tool. If you don't already own one, fix that now. A Swiss Army knife is an excellent example. These tiny, unassuming tools can cut, pry, saw, turn screws, and even open cans when you've been too stubborn to buy that manual opener. Add duct tape to your stash, because in an emergency, duct tape is magic on a roll. Broken window, letting in cold air? Tape it. Leaky tarp, dripping water onto your sleeping area? Duct tape it. It's not a perfect solution, but it's good enough to get the job done until the power's back. Matches and lighters are small but critical. Need to start a fire for warmth or light? Good luck using wet wood and sheer determination. Pack waterproof matches or place regular matches in a sealed plastic bag, just in case things get damp. Consider a magnesium fire starter if you want a backup method that doesn't rely on running out of fuel. And don't underestimate simple rope. Whether you're rigging up a tarp, tying up bundles of supplies, or even creating makeshift tools, a roll of sturdy rope takes up little space but serves countless purposes. Pro tip? Don't get dazzled by gadgets with gimmicks. Choose a multi-tool that has actual practical uses. You don't need a nonsense attachment like a toothpick when you could have a functional saw or screwdriver. When in doubt, go for quality. A cheap tool will break when you need it most, leaving you frustrated and out of luck. Here's the hard truth. When the grid is down, no amount of wishing will turn your frail jackknife into a life-saving piece of kit. The right tools can mean the difference between manageable inconveniences and emergencies spiraling out of control. Pack them now, so you won't have to learn the hard way. Conclusion. Preparation is the key to weathering any blackout with confidence and resilience. By ensuring you have these 8 essential items at your disposal, such as quality tools, reliable lighting, clean water sources, and proper communication devices, you can turn an otherwise stressful situation into one that is manageable and safe. Remember, planning ahead is your best defense against the unexpected. Invest the time now to assemble your kit so you and your loved ones can face power outages ready and equipped to handle whatever comes your way.